everybody, and welcome back to the Always Bayern Chelsea show. This is another special video episode, so go ahead and check it out on the YouTube channel. Once again, I'm here with my friend Oleg, and we are doing a collaboration episode to kind of wrap up the Bayern Munich season and talk about how we think everything went. Um, yeah, so Oleg runs the Radio Muller YouTube channel, and he's also the co-founder of the Bayern Munich Fan Club in Kyiv, Ukraine. So, Oleg, if you want to, yeah, maybe say anything to introduce yourself, or just kick things off, go ahead. We actually did an episode already back before the Champions League quarterfinals against Inter Milan. So we've talked once before, but in case anybody, hasn't seen that one, why don't you go
Mhm.
ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi all. Nice to meet you, Danny, once again. And I appreciate it that I have a chance to make a new episode with Always Bayern Chelsea YouTube channel. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, is there anything else you want to say before we jump right into a season recap? I don't know if you want to shout out your channel or your fan club or give any bit of a background about yourself, but before we jump in, I'll let you say anything if you want to.
Oh, it, in scope of our Kyiv Fan Club, um, it was very interesting season after uh, last one with Tuchel as a coach, and there are too many topics to discuss, especially uh, what we have in Champions League and possible transfers. Uh, it's all I think we can discuss today. And yeah, you know, we have multiple discussions and conversations inside our fan club, and there are too many opinions, let me say, because we have different views of how FC Bayern should evolve as a top, once again, top club.
Yes.
And I hope that today we have some common points in terms of these conversations.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I mentioned this last time, but it's just so cool to be able to talk to you and connect with you as a Bayern fan. It's such a global game. It's a global sport, and it's really awesome to be able to root for the same squad, the same team, and be all the way across the world. So it feels like a nice community, and it's really fun to be a part of it. But yeah, let's jump right in now because you're right. There's a lot of different discussion points. There's a lot of things to talk about, and a lot of folks have different opinions about how things went. For me, I think that it was a very solid season as far as the Bundesliga goes. I think that Vincent Kompany came in and kind of steadied things where last season under Thomas Tuchel, things were rough for a bit, and I think I have to give Company credit for how the team performed in the Bundesliga. Obviously, winning the league again, like you mentioned, becoming a top club. Bayern Munich needs to be on top of the Bundesliga. It's just how they're meant to be. So, good season in the Bundesliga. Disappointing loss in the German Cup. Losing to Leverkusen, Neuer getting that red card right away in that match was a little bit unlucky. I thought that Bayern played well in that match, but yeah, was unlucky not to win. Also, a little bit unlucky in the Champions League with all the injuries that piled up at the worst time. I'm proud of how we fought in the Champions League. I didn't expect to win it, but at the same time, I feel like once we got to the quarterfinals, I thought we could have done a little bit more. So yeah, I think it was a solid season. It could have been better. And next year I'll be looking to improve and hopefully, win more trophies. But how do you think the season ended as a whole for Bayern Munich?
I agree with you because FC Bayern has too many problems, and it's a new coach, uh, a list of injured players. Uh, well, and some of the players are not at the top of their form. And yeah, that's why I couldn't say that it was very good season. It was just good. We take Bundesliga, but we lost traditionally DFB Pokal. And objectively, we are not the best team in the Europe right now. And quarterfinal was our top this season. I think that few words. I feel that we can make some progress next season.
Yeah,
And company,
I
yeah,
totally agree with you. I think that it was good to win the Bundesliga this year. And I think the team was on the right path. I think we improved from how we were last season. And not even, just results. I think the play style, was so much more positive this year. Whereas under Tuchel, it was, the U ball, as everybody calls it. This
yeah,
year under Company, we were certainly more aggressive and we played more positive attacking football. And so I think, that combined with winning the Bundesliga really showed me some progress from last year. But I do think this next season we need to get better. I think we need to win a double next season. I'd like to see yeah, more trophies and just overall improvement to show me that we are moving in the right direction.
yeah, totally agree. Um, w- uh, what I want to add is that about trophies, yeah,
Yeah.
we want um, actually win not just Bundesliga but DFB Pokal at least, and yeah, make some next steps to the Champions League Cup. But we need um, more transfers, I guess, for at least more transfers, but we'll discuss it later, as I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I think we need a another attacking player for sure. And depending on what happens to the defense, we might need to add even another center back if we lose a guy like Kim. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that. I think maybe more towards the end. Why don't we just talk about some awards for this season? Why don't we hand out some awards who we thought were some notable players. Do you want to start right away with the MVP award and maybe a couple of runner-ups? In my mind, I mentioned this in the episode I did where I ranked our players. So if you saw that one, and anybody watching this, you already know that my MVP was Harry Kane. Although I thought that, Michael Olise, Joshua Kimmich, and Harry Kane were probably the three most important players, and I could argue either one, any one of them being the best. But I just gave it to Kane because of his numbers, his sheer production, the amount of goals he scored for Bayern Munich, as well as the assists and the way that he defends for the team. I don't think there's many players in the world that score as many goals as Harry Kane does, and then also, helps in the build-up, helps in transition, helps defending, all those things. But yeah, I mean, I think Kane, Olise, and Kimmich were all great this year.
Yeah, well, from my side, I it's Good question, actually, because I could say that Michael Olise and Harry Kane are equal, pretend to be MVP of the season. Um, because why Olise? Yeah, because it's a new player in our team, and he matches our style and make very good impact on attacking possibility of FC Bayern. He scores, he assists, and he like um, a new Robin.
Yeah,
uh, when you see the Olise in the starting 11, uh, the second thought is why we have no such player on the left side.
I agree. Yeah,
Uh,
I think Olise had a phenomenal season. And I expected him to be good, but I did not expect the amount of assists and goals that he produced for this team. Um, it's one thing to maybe move within a league or I don't know, come up from a smaller team and move up or come from the academy. But Olise, coming from a completely different league, over in the Premier League, and I don't believe he speaks any German. Like I think it's a big cultural shift as well as a playing style shift, to go from maybe the more physical Premier League over to the faster paced Bundesliga. Obviously the cultural difference from moving from England to Germany is it takes a bit of adjustment for some players, and to learn a new system under a new head coach, there's a lot of different variables that go into it, where sometimes it takes guys a year or a half of a season to get kind of acclimated. But Elise just showed right up and instantly became our best winger in my eyes. He was a level above Zane, Gnabry, Coman, and I just think that's so impressive to come over and perform like he did just in his first season. So I'm really excited to see how he grows with this team.
um, nothing to add because, um, well, just to duplicate myself, they're both um, could be MVP of the season, frankly saying.
Yeah,
If
I
you
I agree.
if you choose Hurricane, I agree with you. If you choose Michael Olise, I also agree with you.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Just phenomenal from both of those guys, really leading this attack. But one other player that I would like to mention was Joshua Kimmich, and especially because I think the year prior under Thomas Tuchel, he had maybe definitely a down year for him. He had probably one of his toughest years since he became, a key figure in this team. And this year under Vincent Kompany, Kimmich was really just a central figure on the team. The game kind of went through him. He dictated the pace of the game in the midfield, contributing both on the offensive side and the defensive side, and just providing a level of consistency. First of all, he plays pretty much 90 minutes every match. I think he missed one match this year. He was hardly ever injured, and just seems like he always has that energy and just provides solid, consistent performances pretty much every match. So I did want to mention that I thought Kimmich had a really good year, a really strong bounce back, consistent, solid year. So he could be in that discussion, in my opinion, as well.
Um, what about Kimmich? Is our captain, and he is very important in terms of what a game we are playing and the mentality. Um, his assists are incredible. Some experts say that it's like a FIFA style assists.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, he is. If uh, if we have MVPs, yeah,
Hmm.
uh, Kimmich totally will be in the top list.
Yeah, I agree. I also wanted to kind of ask you about, is there somebody that you think maybe didn't deserve or didn't get as much credit as they deserve? Maybe somebody who is a little bit underrated, because in my mind, you could give a shout out to Conrad Leimer there, just because he ended up playing right back. Started most of the matches. The guy's a midfielder, and Bayern had a lot of injuries at that right back position, and so Leimer kind of had to step up. And there were games where I thought maybe his positioning was a little bit too aggressive, and that kind of led to some tough defensive plays. But overall, the energy that Conrad Leimer brought on that right hand side, and the way that he would interlap and link up with Michael Olise. It was really big, and I just didn't expect to see him play that role this season, and such a it ended up being such an important role for the team. So, is there anybody that kind of surprised you this year with how they ended up playing?
Yeah, Conor Limer is definitely the um, his type of the um, uh, style is like universal footballer. He can play on the different positions, and company used this option and used this option maybe not perfectly, but rather good because really we have some periods where we have a lot of injured players, and we cannot just take another left or right back. And Conor Limer was actually an option for this rotation. Uh, and I have another name actually. I think Eric Dyer is also worth to be mentioned as a player who brings a lot of uh, positive moments for FC Bayern. Yeah, he is not a top defender, but he could be like a dog, angry dog, and
Yeah.
he has no authorities on the pitch. That's why I'm like him as a player.
Yeah, that's a really good shout there, Eric Dyer. Yeah, I've talked about him on our show quite a bit because I am just so impressed with how he stepped up in these massive moments. He always starts off the year not getting very much playing time, for whatever reason. Maybe company thought he didn't fit his system very well, but all of a sudden it's late in the year and the other center backs are injured and run into the ground, and in comes Eric Dyer for the biggest moments of the year and just puts up solid performance after solid performance. So, yeah, really, really good shout there as an underrated player. I'm gonna miss him next year, leaving to Monaco, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, the same.
Yeah. Um, okay, so one more award in terms of players I wanted to talk about was, who do you think was the most improved player from last year to this year? In my mind, well, Kimmich could be an option, but I think that both Diet Upamecano and Alphonso Davies really took a step up this year. I think the most improved, I would have to give it to Davies, just because last year. I don't know what was going on with him, but he maybe just didn't fit well with Tuchel's system, or maybe it was off the field stuff. But it looked like he didn't have a lot of effort at times, or just I don't know what it was, but he wasn't clicking with the team. And then this year he comes in and is great once again. I thought he was one of our best players on the whole year, definitely one of our best defenders, and the way that he produced even attacking on the left side, but also hustled and got back on defense. In the past, I think his defending maybe was a little bit of a liability, but last year his defense was great. And yeah, Upamecano as well. I wanted to mention him because in the past, Upamecano I thought was prone to some mistakes and in big moments, but this last year, he didn't really make any massive mistakes that I can remember, and he actually stepped up in a couple of those really big matches, against Leverkusen, different Champions League matches. So I wanted to mention that I thought those two guys just got a lot better this season.
Uh, yeah, well, I agree with these two names. Don't want to duplicate because I'm totally agree with what you are saying.
Good.
I can add one more name to this list. Um, for me, it's Jamal Musiala.
Hmm.
Why he? Because his mentality uh, has make some progress, and he um, became a player like a team player,
Yeah.
and he brings a lot of um, results and actions that we can say that why Harry Kane is a top scorer in Bundesliga and in Champions League actually because such guys as Musiala.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you there. I think in the past we saw Jamal Musiala obviously always had this high level talent. He was always a
Yeah,
magician with his dribbling and beating two, three, four, five defenders at a time. He always had this special skill that was clear. But I think in the past at times you'd see Musiala maybe put his head down and dribble into defenders too much, where I think this last year he did not do that nearly as much. And I also think that he scored in more ways this year than he had in the past. He had that stretch where it seemed like he was scoring a header every game, and I really didn't know that he had that in him. I ended up looking up his height after one of these games because he's kind of a thinner guy. He doesn't look like he's very tall, but he's actually taller than I would have expected. So adding that header ability to his game was a huge improvement this year.
yeah. Just to add that I think he grow here because he understand that it is his prime time,
Yep.
and Thomas Muller unfortunately and the story with FC Bayern. Goretzka is not on his prime,
Hmm.
uh, and who else can play like Musiala in the 10 position on the pitch here? Nobody in our
Nobody.
team, and I think he understands this, and he, um, let me say, became from a boy to a man in that.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I like that a lot. Yeah, why don't we, you mentioned Thomas Muller, and I wanted to get into that. He still has the Club World Cup to play, but we had, his last Bundesliga match, his last match at the Allianz Arena, which very emotional. Yeah, do you have any thoughts? Any thoughts on that? I'm glad he went out with winning the Bundesliga trophy. Hope we can get him the Club World Cup. That would be a very nice send off. Um, yeah, I don't know if the Bayern bosses were so sure that we were going to bring in Florian Wirtz or what, but I look at the team right now and I don't see a natural backup for Jamal Musiala. So I personally would have liked to keep Thomas Muller around for one more year, but maybe it's water under the bridge at this point. But I just want to know what your thoughts are on his story coming to a close here.
Um, yeah, potentially we can use Goretzka close to another um, under the our forwarder, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a different thing. We have no as you said, a backup for Musiala. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Um, and what about Thomas Muller? Yeah, I'm hope um, he will win this World Cup, uh, but his story is come to the end, and I can't say that I'm happy. No, I'm not happy.
Yeah, me neither.
Because for me, Thomas Muller is FC Bayern.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. He really is Mr. Bayern. Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens at that Club World Cup. It's going to be an interesting one with the new format and everything. But one other thing I wanted to get your thoughts on, or what do you think was Bayern Munich's best or maybe most important match for this season? My shout would go to the first leg of that UCL round of 16 against Bayer Leverkusen. Bayern Munich won 3-0. Could have been 4-0 if Paulinho would have buried a goal at the last minute there, off of some Musiala magic. But that match to me was so important for so many reasons. One, it was just a dominant showing from Bayern. It was maybe the best our attack has looked all year. They were completely in sync with one another. Um, Two, it was obviously a knockout match in the Champions League, and that match decided the whole tie. I mean, Bayern ended up winning the second leg 2-0, so 5-0 on aggregate. But it was over after that first leg, and the other reason is I think that match ultimately decided the Bundesliga as well. Obviously, it wasn't a Bundesliga match, but I think that Leverkusen was so deflated after that match from that loss to Bayern that they teetered off in the league after that match, and it almost seemed like they didn't have a hope in the Champions League or the Bundesliga. So that's why I'm giving it my most important match to that one.
Nice point. Because it's true that after these matches, Bayer Leverkusen have problems in Bundesliga, and that's why he is not Bundesliga winner this year. Um, well, for me, I can say that Champions League clash against Internazionale in Giuseppe Meazza,
Hmm. Yeah.
when we have equalizer at the final 90 minutes. Um, and I like how we dominate this game. We have more than 60% of domination, and we created near 20 moments. Uh, and Sommer was on his top. Traditionally, when he plays against Bayern, he makes such great performance as a goalkeeper. But in general, I like how Bayern play this game. Unfortunately, we missed two goals from standards, and I hope company will fix this for the next year, and we should not um, make any um, well possibility for uh, another team to score in such manner, because it's yeah, we have problems with our backline, but if we want to win Champions League, we need to fix it 100%. If not, we will not win such.
Yeah,
Mm,
I definitely agree with you there. Yeah, even with all the injuries that we had, I was surprised at how well we played for large portions of those quarterfinal matches, and yeah, like you said, missed a couple of big chances there. But we scored. when we needed to, I think the problem was we just conceded right away when we really shouldn't have, in my mind. And you could say, we didn't have our top defenders in there, but um, yeah, we scored and then we just conceded goals that we shouldn't have conceded, in my mind. And if that wouldn't have happened, especially in that first leg, when Muller came in and scored at the end, and then we conceded right away. Sasha Bouet kind of makes a positioning error in my mind. He shouldn't have ran up so far. He should have kind of laid back and defended. But yeah, we had what we needed to win those matches, and we just yeah, in my mind, the errors were on those concessions at the end.
Yeah, you actually um, view these moments very well in details. Uh, just a few words to be added that I don't want to name exactly actually what players are bad in the defending
Hmm.
because it's the general problem of FC Bayern.
Yeah,
It's not a problem of Upamecano or Kim or Limer or Davis. I think each of them want to go to the pitch and take 3 points. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's a good task for Company for next year. I really hope that he can fix it.
Yeah, that is a good point. It's baked into the system with that high line. It's going to be high risk and high reward. So, yeah, that's a good call there. All right, so the next point I think we should mention is it is the summer season. I suppose there's technically a transfer window open right now before the Club World Cup, but yeah, it's the summer transfer window. So far we got Jonathan Tah and Tom Bischof coming in. There's a lot of rumors about other players that might come in and might leave, but let's start with the ones that we know. So we know that Jonathan Tah, center back from Bayer Leverkusen, is a Bayern Munich player, and so is Tom Bischof, the midfielder from Hoffenheim. I'm curious to know what you think about those guys.
Uh, well, frankly saying, I couldn't say any good or bad words about Bischof because I didn't see Hoffenheim much this season. But I uh, my actually fellow from my fan club said that he has a huge potential to be a top player, and I believe him.
Yeah, I like what I have seen from Bischoff. That's for sure. I think um he's kind of a versatile guy. I think he can play box to box, kind of like that number eight. I think if we needed to, we could play him at the number 10 even as a backup. Or if you wanted to move Musiala out to the left wing, but I think he could play at the 10. I've heard that he can play wing as well. I don't think that's his strongest position, but um, yeah, he seems like a young guy with a ton of talent, and to get him on a free, as well as Jonathan Tah on a free transfer, it seems like it's good business for Bayern. We definitely have a lot of midfield players now, so it'll be interesting to see how everybody can get some playing time unless somebody is sold.
Yeah, a good point. You mentioned Jonathan Tah. Actually, I'm not a big fan of this player,
Yeah.
and I have really doubts that he can that he will be a top defender next season. Maybe he will be a much better option than Kim In-jae.
Hmm.
Let's see, let's see. But yeah, once again, I have doubt that he'll be a good option.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, I agree with you there. I'm not the biggest fan of Ta. You know, I think that I think he's a solid player. I don't think he's a step up from Upamecano. I think Upamecano will be our best center back. Um, Maybe, maybe Vincent Kompany will rotate the center backs a little bit more if Kim ends up staying. There's rumors that Kim will leave, but I think it'd be nice to have three center backs that we can rotate at least to try to keep everybody healthy throughout the year. So that's good. I think it is good to get him on a free transfer. I think it's good business there. And maybe Vincent Kompany, being a world-class center back himself, could elevate Jonathan Tah's game. I think he kind of did that with Upamecano this year. Um, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think Tah he makes a few too many positional mistakes for my liking. I don't know if you watched any of the Nations League semifinals or third place matches. Ta being a German international, yeah, he started against Portugal and against France earlier today as we record this. But yeah, he didn't look good in either of those matches. I'll tell you, he had quite a few mistakes there. Granted, Germany's back line and their defense as a whole is pretty injured, so he's not paired up with Rudiger like he normally is. But yeah, I've seen a lot of things that I don't know, don't necessarily make me super excited about Ta coming in, but I think we needed another center back, especially with Eric Dyer leaving. So, we'll see how it goes. I hope there's a rotation at least.
yeah, actually, I have some credits for Jonathan Tah,
Yeah.
but not so much. Not so much.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. My hope, like I said, is that Vincent Kompany, a big time center back himself, can elevate Tah's game even more, and maybe on the bigger stage he'll step up. So we'll have to see. Do you have any thoughts about guys who you'd really like to see Bayern sign, or position groups that you'd like to see Bayern Munich make a move for this transfer window?
Um, yeah, we definitely need a left finger,
Hmm.
and I hope that um, someone from this list, Gnabry, Coman, or Sané, will leave us this season because they have a huge salary and is very impactful on our budget. Uh, why I'm saying this because yeah, they have a big salary, but there is no actual results from that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It sounds like Bayern is going to keep Gnabry. I don't think Gnabry is going to want to leave. It does sound like though that Kingsley Coman might be open to a move. And Leroy Sané, I think if he gets an offer from a club he wants, maybe Arsenal or a London club or maybe even Newcastle, if he gets an offer from a club he wants, I think he's going to leave. We see big offers coming in from Turkey now. Um, I I don't see him making a move to Gala or, any team that's not really in the Premier League. But I think it remains to be seen. His situation, it seems like there's twists and turns every day. One day there's a report that he's going to sign and stay, and the next day he's on his way out the door. So I think we'll have to wait and see what happens with Zane. But regardless, I think we do need a refresh at that left wing position. Yeah, it's just some of these guys. I think their time at the club is kind of coming to a close.
Yeah, 10 points. We need to refresh our attacking potential, especially from left wing. And um, well, I don't want to say any names because there is no strong, um, let me say, I think that FC Bayern bosses are looking for someone, but it is not official right now.
Yeah.
let's keep in touch with these and let's return maybe 1 month later when we have exact names, because currently I couldn't discuss these because I have no names for discussion. But yeah, a left winger is must have.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. If we were to talk about every name that Bayern Munich was linked to, we'd be here for 10 more days. So I think it's better to just yeah, like you said, catch back up after there's some news because it changes so much and so much of it is just not very realistic, I think. So but yeah, yeah, I agree with you. We definitely need a left winger. That's my top priority. And then the only other thing I'll say about transfers is if Kim ends up leaving, I do think we will need another center back. I want to have a rotation at the center back position. I don't want two center backs to play every match again and then be injured at the end of the year and us, scrambling with Goretzka or Stanisic or an out of position player playing center back. I don't want that to happen.
Sure, and the same I could say about Hurricane. We need definitely one more striker, and uh, I saw this season situations when FC Bayern playing against unnecessary matches and Hurricane at the start
Yeah,
position.
yeah. Harry Kane, he's getting older. He's not getting any faster, that's for sure. And no matter how much I like him or how good I think he is, he needs to take a break sometimes. He needs to get rotated out. I know he likes to play a lot, but I mean, you look at it right now, the guy is playing for England. I mean, he just scored England's only goal yesterday. I don't know when he gets a break, and it's clear that yeah, we're gonna need an option there because when Kane was injured last year and didn't play, the attack looked pretty lost, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally. Uh, I don't know. Maybe again without names, but a good striker, maybe not young, but a man who is ready to be a backup for Harry Kane is a perfect player for us. I think there are some potential players um, who can be assigned this season, and I hope we assigned somebody for this.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I think the last thing to mention, I don't know if you have any thoughts on the Club World Cup, but I'm actually going to Bayern's first match in Cincinnati. It's a 6 hour drive from me here in Milwaukee, so I'm going to that first one. In Cincinnati against Auckland City next weekend. But to be honest with you, I have no idea what the Club World Cup is going to be like. I think this new format, a lot of guys are, playing international matches right now. The transfer window, some guys are coming in, some guys aren't. We're gonna have Zane there, but his contract is up at the, June 30th, so maybe he won't be there for the end of it. There's too many unknowns for me to give any sort of a prediction, but if you have any thoughts on how that's gonna go, I'd love to hear them.
Well, currently, it's like a closed book for me, uh,
Hmm.
and I don't think that we can expect a real 100% European football
I don't think so
on
either.
American stadiums, but I think there will be some fun for young players, for players who cannot be on the top 11 of their clubs.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
think
great.
it'll be a great opportunity. Yeah, like that's a good point. I hope we see Tom Bischof. I hope maybe we see Adam Asnew on that left back role, especially without Davies and Ito. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Company hasn't shown likes to play young players that much. But I hope we get to see some in this Club World Cup.
Yeah, yeah. From my side, I will try to view maybe not all matches because some of them are not very suitable for Ukraine.
Yeah.
But I will try my best to view this cup.
Awesome. Well, I think that's about everything I wanted to talk about. Is there any closing words or anything else you want to chat about before we sign off here?
Um, yeah, I want to say that let's keep in touch and view World Cup, and I hope FC Bayern at least will be in a quarterfinal. I hope that FC Bayern bosses will assign some players that is required for us, and let's see how transfers window keep going, and we need to stay in touch to view the ways of ways of how Sané leaves actually FC Bayern. No guarantee, no warranty,
Yeah.
but I hope that it will be. And uh, I couldn't say that there will be much transfers this year for FC Bayern, but maybe additional two or three we can expect.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you said there. There's always something going on with this club. There's always so much going on in the soccer world, especially with the Club World Cup this summer. But yeah, all this crazy transfer news and it's always good talking with you. It's always good catching up. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, it's so cool to just be part of this a fan of this club and part of this community that is such a global community and yeah, there's always something to talk about. So we'll definitely keep in touch and keep putting out these episodes. Definitely, always Bayern Chelsea will be very busy this summer, and I'm sure that you guys over at Radio Muller will be as well.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Thanks for this opportunity to make such episodes. And yeah, the final words from my side that it's very interesting to be a fan of FC Bayern. As you said, a lot of news and a lot of topics to discuss. I hope we can we can make a list of good news on our next episode. But yeah, well, keep in touch. We'll keep in touch and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks again for joining me today. Anybody listening out there, go check out the Radio Muller YouTube channel, subscribe to it. A lot of good stuff there, and check out our YouTube channel as well. Always Bayern Chelsea. We'd love to have you join in the conversation in the comments and subscribe. So yeah, again, Oleg, thank you for chatting today. It's always good to talk to you.
Thanks, you, Danny, and hope I will see very soon you.
Awesome.